for bleeding associated with factor inhibitor. Definition: Alexander Alford is a special reversal agent that is designed to moderate the anticoagulant effects of both direct and indirect factor XA inhibitor. Alexander is recombinant human factor XA decoy protein that is catalyzed inactivity but thus retain the ability to bind factor Xa inhibitor in the active sites with high affinity and want stoichiometry ratio. Application in nursing, prevention of bleeding, uh, acute bleeding or betrayal early, home therapy or only with use for treating of mixed bleeding episodes are several units or be treated in clinical or hospital settings. Coagulation factor replacement concentrator or desmopresent should be administered to adhere factor levels prior to any invasive process. To the extent possible, patients should avoid trauma by modifying their lifestyle. Post accounts cross indications for the use of these agents include the prevention on severe in patients with non-valvular artery fibrillation, the treatment and secondary prevention of death events, thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, and the prevention of vein thrombosis after orthopedic surgery. Cons: the lack of special antidote. The reversible anticoagulant effect is an important limitation. Patients may also be at increased risk for bleeding if emergency surgery is required. Issued in Ecuador. In the anexa exterior partes reserves 5 mg of aplicación orally. Twisted for 3-4-5 días. Those arches stay the plasma layers as the user approves dose. The dose index required to reverse the effects of 20 mg of rivaroxaban on daily is less than that required to reverse the effects of 5 mg of apixaban twice daily because of the initial maximum plasma concentration of rivaroxaban and the larger volume of distribution of rivaroxaban. Conclusion: Inclusion index alpha is a molecule inactive recombinant protein of human factor X.
Factor Xa inhibitors such as apixaban and rivaroxaban are convenient to take but can cause bleeding complications. Many physicians hesitate to use them because there's no easy way to reverse the effects of treatment in the event of an accident, internal bleeding, or a surgical emergency. Andexanet is a fragment of factor Xa that was designed to rapidly reverse the anticoagulant effects of these inhibitors by preventing their binding to authentic bleeding or a surgical emergency. Andexanet is a fragment of factor Xa that was designed to rapidly reverse the anticoagulant effects of these inhibitors by preventing their binding to authentic factor Xa. To test the efficacy of andexanet, a small phase 3 trial was designed with healthy older volunteers as the participants. They were given either 10 milligrams of apixaban or 20 milligrams of rivaroxaban daily until steady-state anticoagulation had been achieved. Then intravenous andexanet was given to determine whether the effects of these anticoagulants on blood clotting could be reversed, and if so, what the side effects might be. The primary outcome was the mean % change in anti-factor Xa activity, which was significantly reduced both in participants who received a bolus of andexanet and in those who received a bolus followed by an infusion of the drug. Participants who received a bolus of andexanet had fully restored thrombin generation within 2 to 5 minutes, and this effect was sustained while andexanet was given as an infusion after the bolus. No serious adverse events were noted. The authors conclude that andexanet reversed the anticoagulant activity of apixaban and rivaroxaban in healthy older volunteers within minutes and for the duration of infusion, without evidence of clinical toxicity. Full trial results are available at nejm.org.
Some very interesting research is being done in terms of developing an antidote to the new generation of oral factor Xa inhibitors, and whilst none of these are yet available, it's probably one of the most interesting, closely watched areas in CV research right now. So we're going to talk about a study that's being presented at ASH, I think. There's some other research that's been presented also at the International Society on Thrombosis and Hemostasis, and I am with Dr. John T. Carnute, who is MD, PhD, and Executive Vice President in Research and Development. And what are we talking about in terms of what's exciting right now?
Well, what's exciting is the antidote, which is known as andexanet alpha, is in phase 2 studies, and what we've seen is that it is a very potent and rapidly acting intravenous reversal agent for all of the 10A inhibitors. We've tested it with rivaroxaban, with apixaban, with enoxaparin, and it is a very potent reversal agent. This gives the physician the opportunity, if the case or the situation arises, for the patient to undergo a rapid reversal of the anticoagulation in a severe bleeding or trauma or emergency surgery setting, and then allow the headwind of the anticoagulation to be removed from the picture, thereby enabling the physician to better manage the bleeding.
We're talking minutes here.
Minutes, that's correct. That was one of the most stunning findings, was within 2 minutes, the very first moment, the very first time point that we took from the healthy volunteers in the study, and we measured the level of anticoagulation. It was stunning to see that it was now completely reversed after the initial bolus of the antidote.
Is there patient-to-patient variability in terms of either speed or completeness of blocking?
That's a good question. Not so far, no. Now, what we're looking in healthy volunteers still, but we've now dosed well over 70 healthy volunteers, and it's a consistent finding regardless of which anticoagulant. The kinetics with the patient-to-patient are virtually identical.
Now, you're in phase 2. What's the next step?
Well, two